girls, it's me. I haven't made a video in a little while, so I figured I'm due to make one. It's let's see, today's April the 12th. It's Sunday morning. Mrs. RW's out shopping right now. I figured this is as good a time as any to make a little video. And I was playing around this morning, and I started working on a little radio last night, and ran into a little problem with it. So I'll go over that with you, and also toward the end, we'll talk about the radio first, and then toward the end, there's some up-and-coming events. Now it's springtime, and swap meet season is upon us, and I'll give everybody information about a couple of swap meets that are going to be in the area. So let's get to the radio and see what's up with that. Okay, the radio I want to talk about is this. Here's the Zenith, obviously right there. This is a little battery and AC operated portable radio. This is a model 5G41 portable radio. One thing that's cool about this radio is that you can turn this on. There's no, as you can see, there's no knobs or anything here in the front. To turn the radio on, there's this little latch down here. You pull down on this button, and you see this door start to open. You flip it up, and then here you have the dial. And here's your volume and tuning knobs. Now right now I'm running this off of a battery pack that I homebrewed that's playing. But I had a problem with basically it was a coupling capacitor that I neglected to replace. We call this our honeymoon radio because I bought this on our honeymoon. Now Zenith made these in 1950. They made a whole lot of them. But they made them in two versions. This is a 5-tube version. And they also made a 4-tube version. So this is the, trying to remember the model number. It's a 5G something, something like that. But both radios were made right around 1950. But with this being a 5-tube radio, there's something that's in the chassis that's kind of overkill but unique to this radio. Let me show you what that is. Okay, so I've opened up the back of the radio, and here's the chassis. And of course down the bottom here, I'll show this to you in a minute. This is my battery pack that I made a long time ago for this radio. But I didn't know this when I bought the radio. I bought this in an antique shop for $50. I won't say the name of the antique shop or where it is, but at the time, after I got the radio home, in retrospect, I was wondering whether I paid too much for the radio. And that was the number I got it down to. I think the opening number was like $75, and I got them down to $50. But then after I started playing around with this radio, I started working on it, I learned that this is, a lot of these battery portables were 4-tube, and this was a 5-tube. And what makes this one a little bit unique is that guy. That tube right there with the yellow Zenith lettering, that's a 1L6. And a 1L6 is a pentagrade converter, which is basically, it's an oscillator tube. I'm not sure if that did the mixing in the circuit or not too, but that's a tube that you find in Zenith transoceanic radios. So the 4-tube version of this radio, you will not find that tube, but you definitely find it here. And here's the battery pack. Now obviously they didn't have the 990 batteries available anymore. This is something I homebrewed. I took actually a connector from an old 990 battery, and I mounted on a little bracket here. This is just a piece of kind of like foam. I forget where I got this from. I've got here for the 9-volt side, I've got 6 C batteries in series connected up, the 2 of the pins. And then the 90-volt what I've got here, now this is kind of odd, I'll explain, but I've got 10 9-volt batteries, but then if you see here, there's an extra battery. Now what I like to do is now, I'm a cheap guy. I don't like to spend money, and I'm sure that neither do you. And you go to the store and you buy 10 9-volt batteries, that's not going to be cheap. So what I do is I take used ones like out of my smoke detectors in the house and all that, and basically gang them all up in series. And then once it drops below a certain voltage, what I do here is, this is a jumper, and I even have an 11th battery right here. So once the battery voltage gets under about 80 volts, I'll connect this guy up, and that'll bring it back up to a reasonable amount. You definitely, when you're making these up, and if you have nothing but new batteries, I would strongly suggest not going over about 88, 89 volts. Just you want to keep it, definitely want to keep it under 90 volts. If you go over there, you might create some problems. I'm not going to get into that. So here's my battery pack right now. So right now the A voltage is probably about 8.8, and the 90 volts, I think I put it on a meter, is about 83. And it's enough to make the radio play and work just fine. Okay, I've put the battery pack back in place in its little hole, hooked that up. This plug, by the way, I forgot to explain, but most radios are like this anyway, battery portables. When you take this out, you can just go right into an outlet and plug it in and then run it off your household. Or if you want to run it off the batteries, you plug the radio in here, and it pushes on a little switch inside, which switches a switch that says, okay, I'm going to run this off the battery pack instead of the household voltage. So we're all set. I've got I took out the 1L6 and I put in a 1R5. Let's see how she plays. Okay, let's see how it plays.
Just in schools, so that New York continues to be a great place. 5-minute challenge is available by when you say it lumps up, it's just backed by the personal income.
WCBS News Time, 11.
That you thought of marriage is necessarily pertaining to Johnson, and you can go to all of the great companies, and number 10 was Google.
So he'll be able to come back at some point. You know, he's got a health issue now.
Okay, it looks to me like didn't really make too much of a difference. I did notice though on the higher end of the band, when you got to once you got above about 1200 kc, it looked like the calibration of the dial was just a little bit off. So we'll just put the basically the performance seemed to be pretty much the same. Okay, boys and girls, coming up this weekend, starting Friday the 17th through Sunday the 19th, Raceway Park, Lynchtown, New Jersey. It's the Spring Swap Meet 2015. I'll be there without the snot rod, by the way. The El Camino, I sold my El Camino to a friend of mine who wanted it real bad. So I've since sold the El Camino. I'm looking for another car. I'll let you in on that if you want to stop by and say hello. But anyway, we'll be there. I'll be there with my T-Ruck and my uncle and my buddies hanging out. We'll be there Friday and Saturday. We don't typically do Sunday, so we'll be there Friday the 17th and Saturday the 18th. So stop by and I'll give you some information. Put it up on the video. Hey, boys and girls, don't forget about the Kutztown Antique Radio Swap Meet. They're sponsored by the Delaware Valley Historic Radio Club. It's going to be May 8th and 9th. So I'll be there with Rich, K2RMS, my partner in crime in old radios. So hopefully we get to meet you there as well. So take care. Bye. Okay, gang, that's pretty much it. So hopefully we get to see you in either Englishtown and or Kutztown. So take care. Good to see you, everybody, and enjoy the spring and the nice warm weather. Bye.